It's like, at the moment, this is probably one of the reasons why I stopped playing Overwatch. At the moment, the game is just like, don't get one shot. That bro.
Overwatch 2
Alright.
is great.
Let's
Today
go.
I'm breaking down and showing you examples for everything new. My name is Nate and welcome to Blizzard Guides. This footage is all from the alpha, so things may have changed since for the closed beta on the 26th, but let's get into the changes. Now, I'm gonna introduce and highlight the kits of all of the reworked and new heroes. Now, I know they've already been announced, but here's what it'll all actually look and work like. The more that's been changed about the heroes, the earlier it'll be in the video. So first off, Sojourn. Her primary fire is a projectile-based railgun. The more damage that you deal, the more energy that you gain. But what is
No, that's
energy?
not a one-shot.
Well,
Please.
your secondary fire shoots a hit scan beam that can one-shot headshot.
Man.
You use energy to charge that beam up. The more charge, the more damage. Her
They better
first
buff my boy hog. They better buff him.
ability is Power Slide. This is a high mobility, instantly fast slide that allows her to get extra height from her jumps during the slide. This is her core part of her kit. Her second ability is Disruptor Shot.
I thought I might come back and play Overwatch, but after this, all right, let's not judge too fast, okay?
Think of it like a mini
This is also still the beta, so let's just chill for a bit, right?
graviton surge that just slows you down instead of holding you back, and it also deals damage. It's really, really strong, and it's very scary when used by the pros. Another thing that is really scary when used by pros is her ultimate Overclock. It's really simple. All it does is just make you auto-charge energy, and it also lets you secondary fire through multiple enemies. Now, trust me, it doesn't seem like it's a very strong ultimate, but seeing Overwatch League pros use this in the alpha makes Sojourn look insanely broken. So this is probably her best ability. I mean, obviously, it's her ultimate. Orisa. Orisa has had her shield removed. Before we talk about her shield replacement, her primary fire has changed. This is what it looks like now. It just does more damage per pellet, but it has less pellets. It works on a cooldown system, so as long as this meter doesn't top out, you actually don't have to reload. Her secondary fire is now an energy spear, and her new iconic item across her kit. She throws the spear and knocks the enemy it hits backwards, and much like Doom Punch, if the enemy gets knocked back into a wall, it does even more damage. Replacing her shield, it is her Spear Spin. It destroys incoming projectiles, but more importantly, it speeds her movement up and it pushes enemies far back. I just want enemy gets knocked back into a wall, it does even more damage. Replacing her shield, it is her Spear Spin. It destroys incoming projectiles, but more importantly, it speeds her movement up and it pushes enemies far back. I just want to say, I played Orisa against the Boston Uprising head coach, Lori, and knew Orisa's just insanely strong. Now, the way that Lori used this was by engaging deep with Fortify, javelin spearing somebody into his own team, and then spear spinning them into a corner or further into his own team. He basically pulled somebody away from the team and then just spear spun them deeper into his own team. It was legitimately a crazy strong strat. It was basically a one-man pull hook combo. Now, finally, her ultimate is now Terra Lance. I'm just gonna show you instead of explain. Yeah. Also, the longer that you charge it, the more it does. So if you proc it immediately, it actually does less damage, like this. Doomfist. Doomfist is a tank now, and a pretty decent one at that. Now, I don't it actually does less damage, like this.
Alright, we're in for a doozy, boys.
Doomfist. Doomfist is a tank now, and a pretty decent one at that. Now, I don't think he's insanely strong, but that's what we thought about Doom when he first initially launched until players got really good at his techs. Now he just seems to be a solid B, but maybe as a tank he'll be really good. His rocket punch is largely the same, it just does a lot less damage and doesn't one-shot, but it does charge quicker and he can potentially knock back multiple enemies with a punch
Oh yeah,
too.
I like this. Alright.
Uppercut is just gone, and it's replaced by his seismic slam, but you can actually just fly with seismic slam, so it's like the best of both worlds. It has a huge arc, but it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it is also insanely strong for making his gameplay feel fluid and just unrestrictive as a whole. Now, I think Doom is a lot more fun because of this, but not necessarily crazy strong like some of the other reworks. Next, his new ability, replacing uppercut entirely, is Power Block, which almost completely removes incoming damage from the front. In the alpha, it was about 90%. And if you block at least 100 damage, you get a Super Rocket Punch, which charges faster, travels further and faster, also allows you to hit more targets in a wider area, and stun enemies that get punched into a wall.
I like this. I like this. I like this so much. The direction they're taking is fucking amazing. It's unbelievably amazing. I like this. I like this a lot.
Even longer. His ultimate is largely the same, it just slows enemies that got hit as well. Now let's talk Bastion. Bastion is a mobile tank. His primary fire is slower, but
everybody's going tank nowadays. What the fuck? I mean, I like this. It's better than everybody getting one-shotted. You know, the game will be actually more strategy based. It's like at the moment, this is probably one of the reasons why I stopped playing Overwatch. At the moment, the game is just like, don't get one shot. That's it. You peek, boom. Whatever happens, Widow, headshot, fucking Pharah rocket, Roadhog hug, whatever. It's just you get it one. If you get pulled like by Orisa, and you just one shot it, boom. The team is fucked now. All right, they gotta play perfect so they can like wait until you come back or like kiting back to the point or whatever the fuck. But it's just so fucking stupid right now.
Also has no spread, so it's like a sniper kind of gun, which just
no spread.
Bastion is a mobile tank. His primary fire is slower, but it also has no spread. So it's like a sniper kind of gun, which just rewards like very high precision. It's super fun and it has the potential to be pretty good. In turret form, it's now called...
No, listen. There's a lot more engaged and there's a lot more going in. The people will be confused at the start. They used to be all together like holding shields and stuff. I mean, it might work right here, but still, like, Bastion fucking diving in with like a mercy.
Called configuration assault and
Basmary. It's like pharmacy Basmary.
Instead of configuration sentry, it just rewards like very high precision. It's super fun and it has the potential to be pretty good. In turret form, it's now called configuration assault instead of configuration sentry. It just allows him to move while he's in that turret form, which is a lot of fun. It has infinite ammo, so you kind of just plow through things. It's really fun to flank with, or it's also really fun to engage with, so I think this is a pretty cool ability.
What the fuck?
Now, he can't self-heal and instead has a bouncing bomb called the 836 Tactical Grenade. It sticks to the ground and players, but it bounces off of walls. But even cooler than that, it adds a movement ability to Bastion's kit.
No, I lost. But
even cooler than that, it adds a movement ability to Bastion's kit.
I lost. Imagine doing this and jumping like there's like a bus, okay? Whatever map it is, I forgot the name of the map. And there's you put the poles like or whatever the fucking grenade, and you jump up top and use the sentry gun. So fucking shooting motherfuckers, man.
That's just really cool. Finally, his ultimate is just way different now. It's basically 3 Doomfist ults, but you're also exposed while you're ulting. They're very strong and can usually pick a lot of kills off, but they're also projectiles in every sense, meaning they can be blocked or destroyed by other abilities. Now, I never really tested if you could deflect it as Genji, and I'm kind of regretting that now as I'm writing the script. It's definitely something I should try once the beta drops, and you should too. Sombra. Now, rather than going by ability, I just want to talk about all the changes as a whole since they all work in tandem. Now, first off, the hack is just completely different. It still disables abilities, but it's only for 1 second instead of 5, so you still use it to cancel ultimates and abilities, but you can also hack while invisible, and it allows you to see hacked enemies through walls, and that includes your team. They can see them through walls too. Now, on top of that, you also do extra damage to hacked enemies due to your passive, making Sombra just the ultimate pounce and kill hero. And if that was not enough, her EMP also takes 40% of the affected enemy's health on impact, so Sombra lives up to her opportunist role where she can strike and kill enemies that venture off alone. Now, we're gonna rapid fire through more of the minor changes to heroes that weren't really reworks in the sense. Cassidy, no more flashbang. Instead, he has a magnetic
Oh, yes!
grenade, which is a grenade that hones in on enemies that are close to the reticle when you throw it. Now, in the alpha, it did about 100 damage to stuck enemies, so it's pretty good for cleaning up kills. Oh, and also when he's using High Noon, he takes less damage, but otherwise he's pretty much the same. Zarya.
Again.
No more flashbang. Instead, he has a magnetic grenade, which is a grenade that hones in on enemies that are close to the reticle when you throw it. Now, in the alpha, it did about 100 damage to stuck enemies, so it's pretty good for cleaning up kills. Oh, and also when he's using High Noon, he takes less damage, but otherwise he's pretty much the same. Zarya. Zarya's bubble charges are now shared, meaning it takes 9 seconds for you to get a charge, but it's up to you to bubble only yourself, only your allies, or mix it up and do a little bit of both. It's completely up for you to decide. You could be selfish or a team player. New Zarya is insanely strong and way better.
Yeah.
Definitely a main tank caliber tank. Reinhardt. Reinhardt can now steer his charge way better, as well as cancel it. Now, my footage got messed up when I recorded it, but you get the idea. You can steer your charge. He also now has 2 fire strikes, so basically Reinhardt in 5v5 means you get to dive deep into enemy lines and brawl your heart
What
out.
about damage?
Winston.
He just threw 2 fire. Wait, 2 fire strike. First supposed to be like 100 damage. Yeah, lower damage.
Winston now has a sniper rifle, and that's it. It's awesome, but it didn't really change his kit that much. It'll be really cool to see how pros use it, but
Winston aim players are doomed. What the
don't
fuck?
think most players are going to get all the value they can out of this. Junkrat. Junkrat's trap no longer completely stops enemies from moving, but rather it just slows them down until you walk far away from the trap. Now, you can't use any of your movement abilities, so like you can't dash or blink out of it, for example, but it does basically mean that the trap concussion mine combo isn't quite as reliable. Also, concussion mines now have this blinking light to give them away more easily, so that's a bit of a nerf. Mei, just like Junkrat,
Why?
Mei can no longer completely freeze enemies, it just slows them down. But her primary fire does more damage, so newbie Meis that never use their secondary fire are now justified in their newbiness. Now, I will say, her ultimate still does freeze people. It's only her primary that's changed in terms of being able to freeze people. Brigitte. Shield Bash is just basically removed. It doesn't stun anymore, it just does 50 damage. You move a little bit further, but not really much else changed. And actually, that's pretty much all that's changed in the support category. We'll talk a bit more about that later.
Alright. My hog.
Now, let's talk maps.
Hog! Oh my god!
All of the existing maps are different, and they are at different times or different weathers, and they just look way prettier. It actually looks really cool. There are some minor changes to existing ones, but overall they're about the same. Now, the new maps are pretty good. There's some weird balancing on certain sections of certain maps. Just the level design is just not right. But overall, the new maps do feel like classic Overwatch maps with new ideas. There are new maps for existing game modes, but there are also new maps for push. So let's talk push. Push is basically tug of war. You push this robot as far as you can towards the enemy spawn. Now, push is a fun game mode, but it can get a little back and forthy. I think it's a welcome addition, but it does have some problems that will probably get sorted out by the Overwatch 2 launch. Like, for example, if one team pushes the robot really far, but not quite to the end, as the second team, you can get really demoralized really quickly because you can push it pretty far, but not get as far as the enemy did. But compared to Assault or 2CP, it is way more fun and a massive improvement. So overall, definitely look forward to it. It's really enjoyable. And
Yeah. My thoughts on this, I really like it because now people can just hold chokes, you know? This is one of the problems, I mean, that I think. Oh my god. People just hold chokes and never move out of them. It's just like, hey, boop. Now we see fucking shields, Torbjorn, fucking Junkrat stuff, man. It's kind of a little bit boring, if you know what I mean.
you can get really creative improvements. So overall, definitely look forward to it. It's really enjoyable, and you can get really creative with playstyles on push game modes compared to other game modes that have existed before. Next, there is a ping system, but it's nothing really fancy. It's just a ping system, like every other game. Honestly, I don't know why this was an Overwatch 2 thing. It feels like this could have probably made it into Overwatch 1 really easily. Hopefully, players will use it, but in the alpha, it just didn't really get much use. So maybe that'll change once more players play the game.
3, 2, 1, clear out.
Oh.
And finally, 5v5. Now, you know 5v5 was happening, but I just want to quickly say, if you are feeling hesitant about it, don't. It still feels like Overwatch, and it's still really fun. From a tank player's perspective, which is me, it definitely feels really weird, but it doesn't feel bad. It's fun. I enjoyed it, so hold your opinions until you've actually tried it. I was pretty skeptical. It's a really cool spin on the game, and it changes the pace a lot.
Oh, so it's one tank, 2 DPS, and 2 healers.
It's still very familiar, and you still have the awesome interactions that you know and love from Overwatch. Now, that being said, supports are the same. They didn't change the supports. They didn't add any. Maybe in the beta they will, but the community has been complaining about this a lot, and honestly, I actually don't mind it. I play a lot of supports, particularly Lucio, and the 5v5 format changes things up enough to where the lack of support changes actually doesn't feel egregious. I felt like the idea of being a support changes in 5v5, and you have a lot more opportunities to like be a damage dealer or focus on your utility more rather than your healing. So support actually has a lot more opportunities for creativity instead of just being a steed and heal bot for your tanks. But anyway, that's this round of recaps for everything new since the Overwatch 2 alpha. Things are subject to change in the beta, so maybe all this information's outdated. But I want to know, what are you most excited to try? Leave a comment down below, and then also check out our Discord, Twitter, and Instagram from the links in the description down below. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a nice day. My name is Nate, and this was Blizzard Guides.
Alright. That was a good video. So, all I can say, I'm just gonna let you up Overwatch. You're gonna play a couple of games. Yeah. Well, that was the end of the video. Good luck, boys. Have a nice one.